शुभं करोति कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदा शत्रुबुद्धिविनाशाय दीपज्योति नमोऽस्तु ते।
Good evening, everyone. On behalf of CRDE, that is Center of Resource Development for Educators, I welcome Dr. Nitin Malekar and all of you who are present for today's session. Today's session is a very unique session. When I say it is unique, what I mean to say is normally we deal with certain things that are directly related to education, directly related to teaching learning processes. But today's session is something that is really very important for all the educators, as it is something that deals with the people who are parting this education, the people to whom this education is parted. And if they are not, if their well-being is not taken into consideration, then we really have to worry. And for that, we have a very special session today. Now, as I've always maintained, the center is a center of resources. Now, when we say that resources, those resources could be present on our website. Those resources could be imparted in the form of webinars, or we could have offline conclaves or meetings where these resources are shared. And we believe that, the center believes that each and every person is full of resources. Each and every educator is full of resources. And therefore, unless and until you share these resources, it will not be, made public to those who are not aware of these resources. And without any further delay, once again, I welcome Dr. Nitin Malekar and each and every one of you who is present here. And I hand over the platform, our online platform, to our coordinator for Tuesday webinars, Mrs. Uma Mahesh. Uma ma'am, the platform is yours now.
Thank you, Deepa ma'am. A very good evening to one and all today. On behalf of Center of Resource Development for Educators, I, Mrs. Uma Mahesh, welcome you all to our 30th session of Tuesday webinars. Before we begin with our session, a brief about CRDE. Center of Resource Development for Educators is the initiative of educators Dr. Suresh Nair and Mrs. Deepa Desai. Dr. Suresh Nair, the president of CRDE, a state teacher awardee, joined Vivek Vidyalaya and Junior College in the year 2006 after serving KC College for about 18 years as a professor of physics. His visionary endeavor in the field of education paved the way to fetch him an array of accolades. He is a co-author in physics textbook for junior colleges and MHTCET for engineering entrance examinations. Mrs. Deepa Desai, Secretary of CRDE. Mrs. Deepa Desai has been in the field of education for more than 37 years and is the recipient of many awards for her work. Former principal of Arya Vidya Mandir, an ICSE school, the founder principal of Mahapragya Public School, Kalva Devi, a CBSE school in South Mumbai, and former head of IES Manik Vidya Mandir. She is a woman of many talents. Her rich experience as an educationist also made her an innovative and knowledgeable trainer for the CBSE and Shri Kelwani Mandal's group of schools in Sherpur, Dhule. Center of Resource Development for Educators is a platform where teachers and educators are manured to excel and mentor the student community through local and international mentorship. CRDE offers opportunity to experiment and implement ideas, innovations, and collaboration to achieve performance and continuous professional excellence. CRDE is where confluence of like-minded individuals share and imbibe knowledge, experience through interaction, deliberation, and international exertion. Let me introduce today's speaker, Dr. Nitin Malekar. Let me be very frank, sir. When I saw your profile, oh my. Of course, due to constraint of time, I had to brief it out. But I'm really very eminent person, knowledge in depth, I can say, really. Dr. Nitin Malekar has 3 decades of management and communication experience in healthcare and education field with national and multinational giants. His heart lies in 4 areas that impact human needs and sufferings. He is currently working on cancer research technology with a dream of finding a solution for early detection on one hand, and on the other, he is focusing on the medical and healthcare education initiatives to enhance knowledge of the medical fraternity and general population to ensure better healthcare. Dr. Nitin Malekar has developed different critical skills, namely reputation management, business management, disaster management, crisis communications, scientific communication, disease awareness, and public education. He began his career as senior sales executive with CRDE Laboratories, after which he became an executive director for IGCP Group of Publications. He's been a vice president with Ad Factors PR. Later, he was a PR head, media communications. Dr. Nitin believes PR is one of the most economic tool in marketing armory, which can be used effectively for reputation management, category expansion, and health education. He was the director of Nitin Malekar Consultancy Services for a period of 2 years, June 2013 to May 2015. He has been a leader for healthcare communication with Reliance Foundation Hospital and Research Center from July 2015 to Jan 2017. He's been a president for marketing and communications for POS Medical Systems, a strategic advisor with Research 11, an agency who has been working along with reputed national organizations like Mumbai Metro and India Today Group. A director with Gargi Genetics Private Limited, an agri-social business venture in food security space. He's been a director with CRDE Corporation in Mumbai, which he is presently pursuing. He's director with Urjam SSPL, wherein they have created a knowledge-sharing web platform currently serving neurosurgical fraternity. Dr. Nitin Malekar is an advisor with Emerging Biopharmaceutical Manufacturers Network. And he states that this role will offer him an opportunity to accentuate the work conducted in the biopharmaceutical domain and to represent, showcase, and facilitate collaborations and partnerships with industry, research institutes, NGOs, and government bodies across geographies. Today, we have Dr. Nitin Malekar on the topic, Catch the Health Disaster Before It Hits. We welcome you, sir. Over to you.
Thank you. Thank you very much for your kind words. Dr. Uma, Mahesh, Deepa, both of you have been very kind to invite me for this talk, and it's an opportunity. It's my pleasure to be here with you. Uh, so well, to tell something a a little about me. I'm a man of science. I love science, and I believe that when you love science, science loves you back. Um, well, I would like to start my session with a beautiful shloka in Sanskrit. It is said, Bandau Gurupad Kanjakrupa Sindhu Nararupa Hari Mahamoha Tam Punja Jasu Bachan Rabi Karnikar, which means, I bow to the lotus feet of my Guru, who is the God in human form, and his words are sunbeams which cut through the darkness of ignorance. He removes mental darkness through his teachings and conducts. And today I am going to talk to all you Guru Bandhus. I believe that you are much more educated, much more, what should I say, illustrated than what I am or what I will be. And I would like to start my session with these words. Can I request Deepa Madam to take the slides, please? Can we go to the third slide, please? Yeah. Uh, I don't know whether you can make that. Yeah, that will be better. Okay. So, as a teacher, I have seen teachers all my life, and I have been a teacher in. I am associated with various institutes. I always feel that the teachers are the fundamental building developers of this society. Teachers have a huge role in the education and also in the lives of every student to make him or her successful. In fact, teachers, like parents, play an important role in holistic development of a child. I sincerely believe it from my heart. While teachers represent one of the most important and growing sector of the workforce across the world, they are over they are generally overwhelmed with the multiple duties. They do so many duties at a time, which makes them more vulnerable to stress. The stress is thus always a common factor with teaching professional. In addition to stress, they also face a lot of physical and mental health issues. I have a huge respect for the teaching fraternity as a whole. I believe it is one of the most inspiring profession that helps the society to become more and more successful. To rise up in the ladder, I'm talking societal ladder, teacher is the one of the most critical element. Teacher who teaches 7 to 8 hours daily, they have a risk of developing a lot of mental and physical hazards. Even with such difficulties, all you teachers never fail to inspire not only your students but also people like us. The fact that the teachers are exposed to such a high stress and occupational burnout, it is a well-known fact that they are one of the most humble community. Some recent studies which I went through have also suggested that the teachers have very high level of mental fatigue. Although only a few studies have been published on teachers' health, I am very sorry to say that. Research has also shown multiple times that teachers are vulnerable to several conditions because of the dual role which they play. Because you teachers have to play a role in not only in that the school, at the work, but also at home. You are homemakers also, most of you. One study published in the current research in nutrition and food science journal has said that public school teachers face increased risk of non-communicable diseases such as cardiovascular diseases, diabetes, and hypertension. The study also found that the prevalence of obesity, overweight, was very high among the teachers. And we all know that having excess body weight, especially around the belly, is an independent risk factor for the serious health problems like heart diseases, type 2 diabetes, also cancers. So I would like to highlight some of the most common health concerns that teachers face and what can they do to stay healthy and fit. So I will focus on this topic for this session. Can we go to the next slide, please? So let's look at the stress as the number one issue here. So according to 2019 study, which is from the Department of Our Own Education, 20% of the teachers in India, they feel tense about their job most of the time. So it is not once in a while, it is most of the time. And when you compare it to any other profession, that percentage goes as low as 13%. So our teachers are already on their edge. In 21 study, it has found that 6% of the teachers experience severe to high level of stress. One study also found that the secondary school teachers, especially for boys, they have more stress than the teachers who teach girls. Some sources of stress for teachers include role ambiguity, which is not a clarity most of the time. They have a poor relationship with internal issues, internal politics. Then the work overload. They are always overloaded. Last we heard, even they were being asked for the election duties. So there was so much of hangama that they had to pull it down. And the last but not least is they most of the salary structure is not still up to the mark for the teachers fraternity. So other factors that contribute to teachers stress can be said like working long hours. Compared to any other profession, teacher works more number of hours, working intensively in those weeks where they work too much. So there are a lot of work in particular weeks that adds to so much of stress in their life. According to a famous educationist, Dr. Devlin Peck, more than 75% of teachers have reported to have some kind of stress related health problem in their lifetime. So that is very, very common. The finding underlines that the extent to which the school teacher feels the weight of this problem. 55% of the teachers in India struggle with the completion of regular tasks on account of the stress and tensions. World Mental Health Day actually focused on teachers' issue last year. Stress can be very, very exhaustive. This mental issue can lead to depression and anxiety as well. It can also lead to physical ailments like backaches, neck aches, pains. This usually comes, I'm sorry to say, but this stress most of the time comes from the students as well. Some students are especially very, very challenging to deal with because they have their own problems. So in the next part of the lecture, we will be also looking at some of the stress, some of the issues which the students face. Or they may have some other needs, special needs. So it is very, very common for teachers to experience the burnout. The burnout across India in the teacher fraternity is not a new thing. The next slide, please. Thank you. So when I look at teachers burnout, in 2021 survey of over 3,000 education staff, they found that 77% of the teachers experience poor mental health because of this. Out of that, 72% were highly stressed. Teaching is lot more like a marathon runner. It's nothing less than marathon runner. You are continuously in the training mode. You're continuously doing something. Continuously, people expect things from you. Even during the school breaks, you can't relax. You can't stay very, very far from your routine because you have a risk of hard time adjusting to your regular schedule afterwards. Fatigue is so common that it is no more called a health problem. Educator and fatigue goes hand in hand. In light of recent pandemic, the COVID, relevant concerns were placed on mental health of a student. We talked about a lot about students burnout and the difficulties of difficulties of the student adjusting to the difficult digital education parameters. But these hardships has not only plagued the students but has a huge negative impact on the teachers, not only in India but across the globe. In India, the rate of teachers burnout is increasing exponentially, a problem that stems from a number of factors and one that negatively impact each side of the equation. In recent poll which was conducted to gain insight on the burnout for teachers, 100% of respondents reported experiencing feeling of exhaustion, which was based on their regular work. When asked what caused this burnout, most teachers agreed that the top two problems for the burnout was increase in the workload and the second, disrespectful students who are disruptive in class and simply don't care. Though these issues were already pre-existing to some extent, they have been extrapolated, they have increased, they have really, what should I say, it has become huge after the pandemic. Despite the increasing workload, the teachers are not receiving enough preparation time. They are unable to cope up with the continuous pressure on them because there is continuous change, whether it's from the education department, the school, the administration. There is a continuous teachers are expected to do always something extra. Teachers can feel a lack of time for self-care. They lose time in the daily hustle bustle. This leads to a continuous process of leading to burnout. And it definitely affects their mental health being. Burnout works as a vicious cycle. Teachers get burnout, so students get burnout. They feel the heat, which only perpetuate this inescapable and negative trend. In order to protect our future welfare of all our teachers, students, and schools, this issue has to be addressed on a war footing, I believe. It is a necessity today. Managing stress is very, very critical today. It can also affect the overall health of the teacher. You can try various relaxation techniques. I am sure there are many more experts who are sitting here, but I would like to suggest some of the techniques which I use and which I suggest to my friends. First is meditation. Very, very clear. You read a lot, so I will not say, but you read something which you love other than your regular work. I don't know how many people believe in dancing or meditative dancing, or you have to get lost in yourself, that kind of dancing. Yoga or martial arts is one of the most effective way to deal with stress. Exercise, I'm sure you people must be doing some exercise to keep yourself happy and keep your mind fresh. And the last but not least is music. I believe that there is nothing better than music which can reduce your stress. Can we go to the next slide, please? Thank you. When I look at the self-esteem, undoubtedly, compared to earlier era, the literacy rate in India across the markets, the enrollments in the schools, colleges have shot up. We have the capabilities which are unmatched almost. We have sent rockets to moon, Mars. We are creating so many interesting life-saving drugs, vaccines. It can be said as the gains of Indian society, of the gains of Indian education system. But even though India has become the fifth largest economy and home to the third largest number of billionaires in the world, I believe that we haven't done, still there is lot to be done in education system. We have to improve the education system to actually reach that pinnacle, that level of expertise or level of where you can make your teachers comfortable to teach. You can make their life more livable. 76 years of independence. Have we really achieved what is expected? Clearly, a large number of people don't get the job appropriate to their degrees. They may have a particular skill, but they are expected or they are made to do a job which is not as per the liking or a degree acquired. The desperation amongst the youngsters can be gauged by a person having a PhD, having an MTech degree, MCOM degree, applying for a peon's job. This is the case in Uttar Pradesh. No doubt the government job is preferable, but one does not do an MTech or a PhD to become a peon. Just imagine their plight. There is also growing commercialization and privatization of education on the grounds of the failure of the public system, and that is increasing the divide between well off and the poor. Regular appointments of teachers have become dismal, and they are getting recruited as a temporary ad hoc or as a guest lecturer. As a result, a large number of teachers have become insecure as they have no autonomy and are shamelessly exploited by the administration sometimes. Using the growing malpractice as an excuse, policymakers, including academics in position of authority, have imposed policies that are not suitable for the teachers. This has been affected on a plea of disciplining teacher and attaining standard and standardization. But just imagine the plight of the teachers who have to go through this grind. This all in turn has led to decline in the self-esteem of the teachers. Naturally, the teaching standards are going down, and not only the teaching standard, but research as a whole have become just a mechanical job. Can we go to the next slide, madam? So when I look at some of the physical ailment which has got resulted because of this stress, the first which comes to my mind is hypertension. Hypertension, high BP, we all are aware of it. But do you know that how dangerous it is? It is an important public health problem for the whole of India, which leads to more than million deaths. Huge. Although teachers are active and work in a lot different environment, they also tend to work more in a sedentary fashion. Whether standing at the blackboard or sitting behind a desk, a lot of teachers don't get much time for exercising. The recent study has concluded that the level of blood pressure was significant with gender, income, lifestyle practice. It also has an element of history, family history of hypertension, and the sedentary lifestyle. Silver line is the study also results that the life modification decreases the hypertension, decreases the mortality and the morbidity due to hypertension. So developing countries like us, India, are seeing growing number of people who suffer from heart attacks and strokes due to undiagnosed and uncontrolled hypertension. So hypertension is called a silent killer. It kills very, very coolly, very, very silently. Some of the researchers like Girish Sumant Mallikarjun Marjgi study reported that hypertension among teachers was 28.57%, which is higher than the general population as a large. So hypertension, which is the ground on which these diseases erupt, we have the highest percentage of hypertension among the teachers. Reduced sleep, lack of physical exercise, and family history of hypertension are the contributors among the teachers. Positive family history, smoking habit, alcohol usage, non-vegetarian diet are some of the other factors which also adds to this burden. We have seen that there is a very limited number of teachers who actually practice yoga, meditation, exercise, which is also, these are the biggest deterrent for the hypertension, but they are not being utilized. Hypertension has a major hand in causation of coronary artery disease or heart attack, strokes, various other vascular complications, including renal, the nephro complication. It is a major risk factor for cardiovascular mortality, deaths, which accounts for approximately 20 to 50% of the deaths due to this silent killer. It is one of the most biggest issue being faced today. Let's take a closer look at heart disease or heart attack. The higher incidence of diabetes, hypertension, obesity, which are seen among these teachers, translate into increase in number of cardiovascular events such as heart attacks, heart failure, arrhythmias. Teachers are more prone to these diseases, cardiovascular diseases, due to stress from work, such as I mentioned, disobedient student, job burnouts, verbal communication, too much of verbal communication. Everything comes together to form a consistent stress on the minds of the teachers. This stress can cause poor sleep patterns and decrease in physical activity, which can lead to CVD. Other factors which may contribute to CVD, which can be also depend on the multiple roles teachers play, what are the responsibilities they have other than their work from the family side, and the increasing age. Studies have also established that the teachers are more prone to heart diseases due to repetitive work related stress. The work is repetitive. Work becomes over the period mundane, boring. It just does not end. It keeps on adding. Just check this scenario. I don't know whether you've heard this story. This is, everything is blank in front of me. That's what the person says. I can't see anything. My chest is heavy. These were the final few words of a 23-year-old teacher who died of a heart attack in recent past. The young man was a primary school teacher at JK School Academy, Uttar Pradesh. It's in Bareilly district. In the early hours of Saturday, when the young teacher, identified as Govind sir, was busy taking care of his school students during the morning assembly hours, he started experiencing the unusual symptoms, pain. And then all of a sudden, his health deteriorated and he collapsed. The sight created panic naturally, and everybody rushed him to the hospital. Looking at his condition, he was taken to another larger hospital, which was a medical college as well. But in the meanwhile, we lost Govind. Just imagine. I want to tell you few of the things which you can do, which you can which you can actually work on to make this hypertension, make this stress not go away, but can we reduce them. Some signs and symptoms, let me tell you first before I give you the solutions. The signs of heart attack, signs of impending heart attack can be first chest pain and discomfort. Second is shortness of breath. Third is discomfort in the jaw, neck and back. It can be also in the arm and shoulders. You can also feel nauseous, lightheaded, or unusually tired. You need to get professional help without any delay. According to the some of the best hospitals and organizations like Mayo, regular physical activity can lower the risk of heart disease. Other things you can do to prevent heart disease can be no smoking, no tobacco, eat healthy diet, maintain healthy weight, get quality sleep, manage stress, which is so critical, and get regular health screening tests. A healthy diet can actually protect your heart, improve blood pressure and cholesterol levels. It can also lower the risk of type 2 diabetes. You can add vegetables, fruits, whole grains, legumes, nuts, plant based proteins. If you are eating non veg, then lean animal proteins, fish to your regular diet. You can also reduce your intake of saturated fats and, of course, limit alcohol. Here are some of the other things you can do to prevent heart disease. That is, first, you have to be physically active. Second, that is improve your sleep health. And a third, reduce your stress. It has been said that the Indian person always visit the doctor or always go for his test when it is required the most, or when he's forced or she is forced to go for the test, which is what we need to change. Let's look at the next slide, which is about sleep. We are talking about insomnia here. Anyone who is expected to meet each day bright and early with a cheery smile might experience a bout of insomnia every once in a while. Millions of people search every day, every night for a magic cure for teachers' insomnia. That is what is called here. Natural, pharmaceutical, make believe home remedies are bought and tried by desperate people across the world whose greatest wish is to sleep like a child, like they once did. If you envy babies, dogs, people that fall asleep at temple, church, sleep is a problem for you. But there is a solution for teachers insomnia. Thank God for that. Many people view the natural act of sleep as an enemy. In order to make sleep your ally, we need to change the way we think and act towards the biological needs. Anxiety is the main culprit, fighting our basic desire to achieve peaceful oblivion. Job anxiety, which is a huge problem with the teacher's insomnia. Teacher and anxiety, as I said earlier, goes hand in hand. Thoughts of what you need to do to help your students in your class achieve success consistently consume your thoughts consistently, continuously. This lead to an irrational fear that you will never be able to sleep peacefully again. Frontline educationists who experience isolation, anxiety, dissociation, physical ailments, helplessness are more likely to develop sleeping problems. And these results are in line with other studies, which demonstrated that sleep and other mental health problems are associated with the increased risk of work related stress phenomena, stress symptoms. Secondly, we observe a positive relationship between insomnia and exhaustion. The teaching staff is under constant pressure. They face high expectations, which leads to anxiety, depression, stress related symptoms, insomnia, and worry about meeting the expectations of everybody: institutions, seniors, peers, students, and their parents, not to mention their own family. All these symptoms can lead to exhaustion, and which is a huge issue. Next slide, please. Thank you. Let's look at one of the most critical problem which all of you, all teachers face, which is the voice disorders, voice issues, throat infections. About 10% of all the professionals who are heavy voice users or occupational voice users, which means that they use their voice so much during the day that they face a higher risk of voice disorders. This group includes lawyers, counselors, telemarketers, singers, stage actors, and loads of teachers who represent the largest group of professionals who use their voice as a primary tool of trade. Voice disorders can be frequent occupational hazard for teachers. Shouting across the classrooms, giving out instructions, loud reading can affect the vocal cord as a whole. For teachers, one of the most important part of their career, important tool for their career is their voice. Throat problems are an occupational hazard of being a teacher. And since there is a lot of stress on their throat from their daily teaching and disciplinary activities, certain precautions should be taken to save their important tool, voice. Here are some of the instances that may warrant a visit to an ENT or a specialist if it is growing worse. It is called a voice overuse, sometimes throat infection or some other illnesses. So regular or unexplained voice loss is first reason you should think about going to a doctor. Second is voice quality going hoarse or croaky for more than 10 days. Third is a weak or tired voice. Fourth, a sensation in the throat that feels consistently painful, and if there is a lump. And the fifth, you feel a frequent need to clear your throat. A voice disorder is a problem that impairs the voice from functioning adequately to meet the demands for the set speaker. Common symptoms include hoarseness, strained speaking, vocal fatigue, shortness of breath, throat tightness, or pain. While it's common to experience hoarseness from a cold or upper respiratory infection, a voice disorder extends much beyond cold and it can last for several weeks. If you check some of the research on how common the voice disorders are seen in teachers compared to the general population, 11% of the teachers report having voice disorders. 58% of the teachers have reported history of voice disorder, sometime in history. And teachers of music, drama, performing arts, they have significantly higher risk, even more than the physical education teachers and coaches. Here are some of the suggestions which I would like to give to all of you to keep your voice intact, throat in the optimal condition, whether you are teaching or not. Teachers can start their day with the salt water gargle and warm up their voices vocalization exercises. Hissing, humming helps stretch the voice cord. These are the exercises which you have trained your throat. You should consider the effect of the voice. What are the need on the what is the impact on the listener? Make or use enough pauses. Speak slowly. Use silence effectively. You should take time to relax. Let the voice recover. After a long lecture, you have to give your voice rest. Having a warm drink can be a very soothful. It can help your vocal cord definitely. It is important, especially for a teacher, to drink lots of water, 6 to 7 glass a day at least. It will help moisture larynx, especially on the hot day. Dairy products, generally the milk and milk products, they form a mucus around the vocal cord. So generally they should be avoided when you're using your voice more. If there is a nagging ache at the throat, don't keep trying to calm it down with lozenges. No, it won't help. The pain is a sign of body asking for a rest. Hence, it needs attention. Using non-verbal signals like clapping, whistles are useful. Be aware of how consistently loud you're speaking. You have to be aware of it. You have to use your voice effectively. Use a microphone if need be when you're speaking to a large group. Smoking is not allowed for a teacher because it will affect your voice. And don't ignore the changes in the voice. Go to ENT immediately. Do not take a chance. Can we go to the next slide? I'm coming here with a posture problem, which is so common. I haven't met a teacher who does not have a backache. Teachers spend a massive amount of time standing and walking. Standing for too long can take a toll not only on your legs but also on your back. Under constant strain, a lot of teachers tend to bend their backs. Two, they generally form an incorrect posture which can damage or which can affect your spine negatively. Educators face humongous continuous challenges which may result in low back, neck, shoulder pain is constant, tired feet, aching legs, headaches, insomnia, stress. And have I mentioned varicose veins, which is one of the most critical element as well. Often the number one concern for teacher is the back pain. So when they are standing or when even if they are sitting, they actually the bad nagging back pain is with them. Whether you are a nursery school teacher or a college professor, job related challenges can be reduced or avoided, especially if you know how to improve your posture. These challenges can be you may be standing lecture style for extended hours, placing an extra burden on the lower back and leg, which is not a very good posture. Additionally, hard, unforgiving surfaces can also take a toll on your prolonged standing body. Bending or stooping over the children at their desks, sitting down for a longer period for checking the papers, grading the assignments can also become a problem. Other challenges include lifting or carrying very heavy uh, paperwork, objects. Teachers are primary, especially in the primary and earlier classrooms, they spend number of hours or they spend time sitting at a very ill-designed furniture, which is designed for the children. In addition, teachers may be utilizing extra low sinks, umpteen number of issues which can lead to posture problems. So teacher can improve their health by implementing the recommended lists, which I would like to give now. First, use a specially designed chair or a floor cushion for low sitting. Use a high stool instead of standing for hours. Use height adjustable table. Transport heavy paperwork on a wheeled trolley. Stretch or move frequently. Get up every 20 to 25 minutes and walk around. Avoid excessive reaching and twisting. It may take a toll on you. Wear comfortable and supportive shoes. Investing in a good shoe is really a wonderful option. Maintain ergonomically correct workstations. And the last and one of the most critical is learn to improve your posture while lifting something or bending or carry correctly. Deepa madam, next slide please. So let's look at one of the most critical element I have seen in the teachers or anybody who stands for long hours, which is called varicose veins. As I believe the teachers are the biggest asset to the society as they are the source of knowledge and they teach the life principles to the children. And they face many problems which are mainly due to the quality of life. One of the critical problem is varicose veins, which shows various symptoms like itching, ulcerations. Research has indicated that there are a number of negative health outcomes associated with prolonged standing. Standing for more than 4 to 5 hours a day can take a toll on you. It continuously put pressure on your legs. Prolonged standing, especially standing in one place, leads to long-term back pain, which I spoke in the last slide, physical fatigue, muscle pain, leg swelling, tiredness, and leg fatigue. Do you know that prolonged standing may also contribute to cardiovascular problems, which includes varicose veins, chronic venous diseases, chronic venous insufficiency? Prolonged standing can cause vein to overwork, which also causes their weakness. So let me tell you something more about how the teacher and the varicose veins are connected. Unlike arteries, the veins contain one-way valve, okay, to prevent the blood from flowing backwards. When these one-way valves don't work properly, or when the pressure inside the vein is too high, the blood pulls around, causing the vein to enlarge and become a varicose vein. Arteries have thick muscular walls which are able to withstand the high pressure and push oxygenated blood from heart to the organs, to the tissues of the body. But veins carry the deoxygenated blood, the impure blood from the tissue back to the heart. And these veins are generally located or generally collect the blood from the extremities, correct? Near the surface. So compared to arteries, veins are thinner, more pliable, and have collapsible walls if the blood flow stops. Veins in the legs have small walls that help push the blood upward against the gravity from the lower extremity towards the heart. When you sit or stand for very long hours, the blood flow may begin to pool in the leg veins and putting pressure on the veins, and this vein starts, the wall starts becoming more and more weak, which causes the coagulation. Blood, it gets pulled up in those veins. So what can we do to avoid this? Here are some of the lifestyle changes which I would like to suggest to you. First, exercise. Regular exercise such as walking or cycling can improve the circulation of the legs. You can also try yoga poses that raise your feet above your heart level, such as headstand, shoulder stand, leg up the wall poses. Take breaks. Take frequent breaks and stroll around the office to promote healthy blood flow. Elevate your feet. At the end of the day, elevate your feet above the heart level to help relieve the pressure of your legs. The blood pooling can be avoided this way. Wear a comfortable shoe. My biggest advice is wear a comfortable shoe. Avoid high heels and instead invest in flat shoes that provide support throughout the day. You can also wear compression stockings to keep the blood moving back up to the heart. It helps. Maintain a healthy weight. Being a healthy weight may help in preventing varicose veins. Next slide, please. Uh, your profession in eye strain is again one more bane. Teachers need to do a lot of reading. This can strain their eyes. Thanks to COVID-19, you might be using the computers more than usual now. All of this screen time can take a toll on your eyes, causing symptoms of digital eye strain like blurred vision, headaches, even pain in neck, shoulder, back. Digital eye strain, also known as computer vision syndrome, is a group of symptoms that occur when your eye get tired from a continuous usage. This type of eye strain typically occur after looking at digital screen, reading, or even driving for the long hours. Some of the most common eye strain symptoms are itchy, watery eyes, headaches, neck pain, dry eyes, blurred vision, eye fatigue, and general discomfort. So, digital eye strain is not a permanent condition, luckily. but usually only last, but it can also last to up to 30 minutes depending as per the impact. However, the long-term effect of the digital eye strain can be very, very dangerous, can be detrimental to your overall eye health. Studies have shown that too much of screen time can impair the quality of your sleep, which can contribute to issues like memory loss, insomnia, and even more dangerous condition which I mentioned above, like heart failure and stroke. So, what can we do? What can we do to avoid this issue? It is best to follow the 20-20-20 rule. What is 20-20-20 rule? Every 20 minutes, look away in a distance for at least 20 minutes. So, for at least 20 feet away for at least 20 seconds. So 20, every 20 minutes, you have to look 20 feet away for 20 seconds. Is 20-20-20. Adjust the lighting in your room. Adjust the screen brightness so that it suits your eyesight. Use special glasses, they call it blue glasses, to reduce the glare. And blink your eyes. One of the most essential and simple, but most of the people don't do it. Let's go to the next slide. I want to bring it to your notice that it is one of the most critical thing which I have noticed over the period because of the overuse of your this joint. According to a Discovery Scientific Society, 62% of the symptomatic school teachers in India have carpal tunnel syndrome. Carpal tunnel syndrome. 187 teachers who underwent this condition, they found that the median nerves, this nerve, gets affected by this syndrome. If your hand frequently hurts, your wrist feels heavy, or get a tingling sensation in your lower arm and hand and the wrist region. If your hand is continuously hurting, your wrist is feeling heavy, or you can feel that uncomfortableness in your hand, it can be a carpal tunnel syndrome. A wrist brace can help to alleviate this stress on your hand. While minor surgery is also today can be done, but it is very, very last resort, I will say. As a teacher regularly use the hand to instruct and communicate, this is one of the most seen occupation hazard of today. Yes, Deepa madam, you took it to the next slide. Perfectly okay. Well, one of the most dreadful disease, cancer. So according to the studies, breast cancer is number one killer and the cervical cancer is number two most common killer in women in India, which is followed very closely by lung and head neck cancer in men. Smoking, diet, lack of exercise, obesity, pollution, genetic conditions can be a major factors which leads to this condition. What are the signs and symptoms I would like to bring your attention to? Change in bowel habits, bladder habits, the sore which does not heal, unusual bleeding or discharges, thickening or lump of in breast or elsewhere, and hear me out, breast cancer can also affect men. Indigestion or consistent indigestion issue or difficulty in swallowing, obvious change in wart or moles in the body, and nagging cough and hoarseness are some of the most critical symptoms of cancers in elders. We Indians literally believe that whatever bad has to happen will happen with somebody else, not with me. We do not go for regular checkup because of the fear of finding something wrong. But just imagine if you find the wrong, you can deal with it. But no, we are Indians. Let me give you an example of a survey which was conducted by us in women doctors in the city of Mumbai. Every woman above the age of 45 should go for breast examination or mammogram every 2 years. But I got a surprise of my life when we found out that only 5% of the women doctors in the target age group were going for mammogram, which is a gold standard for breast cancer. If doctors don't do it, what can I say about the common person? That's the truth. And that is why in India, every second woman who contracts breast cancer dies. There's a 50% death rate. It is only because of the late diagnosis of the disease. What a sad status. So in the next slide, I'm going to tell you how can you take care of yourself. I have an advice for all of you to prioritize self-care. Self-care should not be somebody else's issue. Self-care is your issue. Self-care should be on your mental to-do list, the same as any other thing in your life. You can't do everything, but self-care is must. So be honest with yourself about things that are absolutely necessary and move them lower on your list to make room for the self-care. You take more care of your car than your own health. Just think. Sometimes you will have to say no to your colleagues who ask for extra help. Schedule time for self care. Once it's a priority, you can find time in your work schedule or in a personal schedule, but you have to find time for self care. Set healthy boundaries for your time. You know that anyone, everyone from your superiors, your institution, your students, your parent, everybody wants your time. The teacher's job leads to working unconventional hours, evenings, weekends, in order to prepare lesson plans, paper checking, catching up with the issues, and many more issues. Even before the pandemic, many dedicated teachers let work spill over into their personal lives at an unhealthy level. Now, post pandemic, the situation is worse. The profession personal life has got mixed up. The line has got blurred. More important than ever is to set healthy boundaries for yourself and stick to them. Just as you might schedule time for self care, schedule time for off the clock. For example, you might need to form an office hours you set for students and parents, especially protect your time. Remind yourself you are just one person. You cannot control everything, and education is a collective effort. Remind yourself, take time off when you feel overwhelmed, and know that you are doing good for both yourself and your students by giving yourself some time. Third critical thing is choose fun things which you plan in advance. Fun thing is, it's for every person it's different. Most of us have a variety of things we want to do as a fun and relaxation. Like I do martial arts, that's my fun thing. But even going through that list becomes stressful sometimes. So if you want to spend time watching or reading a good book or cooking something or learning to cook or doing some yoga, watching some good programs on television, or going for a walk, keep things simple and doable. Choose the couple of things that consistently look forward to doing and build it in your calendar, in your schedule regularly, and take a shorter breaks. You're a human, not a machine. You need smaller breaks to rejuvenate. You may need to get creative about how to fit these breaks, but 10 to 15 minutes of small breaks can help you clear your mind. Take a walk around the block, around the floor. Turn off your lights in your room and close your eyes for a few minutes. Listen to some meditation or music on your comp. You can also connect with other teachers to share your thoughts or rant sometimes. It helps. Spend time with pets. Most of the people who have pets have lesser degree of stress. Pet can be not needed to be a cat or dog. Even a fish can be a great pet. The researchers proved it. You are organized people, but getting more organized is always better thing. And celebrate your success. Everything that you do has some good element to it. So there can be some student to look forward to your classes, or some parent who come and say special thank you. You should congratulate yourself for that. You have done that good. And if you are stuck somewhere, if you are in an issue, get a professional support, get a professional help. Do not hesitate. Many people during the pandemic and post have struggled due to mental health challenges. Asking for help is a sign of strength, not of weakness. Most education institute have their in-house psychologists and the social workers. But yes, you have to actually search for them if you need. Let's look at your pupils' health now. Next slide, please. So when I look at the children, I don't know whether you are aware, 50,000 new childhood cancer cases are detected and dealt with, and 70% of these children die. General diseases among pupils, which you and educationists regularly see, are upper respiratory tract infection, worm infestation, dental caries, eyes, skin, ear diseases, malnutrition, food poisoning, sprains, measles, common cold, influenza, so many. So we have to understand one of the some of the most critical diseases so that we can help our kids. Can we go to the next slide, madam? Thank you. While health issues in children tend to be different than that of adult, there are some problems that are common for children that should be aware. I just mentioned most of them here. The school and education institutes are the ideal place to spread infection, because so many people, so many young students, young people of different ages are in closer contact with each other. Some of these problems are related to the poor quality or hygiene environment, sanitation, nutrition services. But if you ask me what are the critical diseases we should keep an eye, the first comes is stress, anxiety, and depression. The second is consistent sleepiness in the kids. Third is sexually transmitted diseases, infections. Fourth is seasonal illnesses, which generally we'll see. Fifth, one of the most critical, I believe, which we are seeing nowadays, which is the drug usage, substance usage, misuse of the drugs. And the fifth is bullying, abuse, or sexual assaults. These are the major issues which we have to keep our eyes open to. Teachers can also observe a student's health and hygiene habits, diet, behavior in class. They can also give us a lot of inputs on whether this child is healthy or not. For example, some early signs of eye strain include frequent squinting while reading, a sudden and unexplained drop in performance, rubbing eyes. Teachers can also provide information to students on how to stay healthy, such as how to eat well, what to eat, when to eat, how to be physically active, how to participate in sports. All these issues, all these advices can be of great help. Next slide, please. So during class, a teacher should note these following conditions. So fever, if the pupil has a fever, you have to take the temperature, because the fever may indicate an infection or other serious medical condition. Screen rash has to be also looked at. Any unusual skin rashes have to be noted. Third is breathing difficulty or serious coughing. The asthma is so common in today's polluted cities. It can indicate a serious infection. Headaches and dizziness, frequent headaches can indicate a medical condition which needs further evaluations. Stomach issues, diarrhea, pain, vomiting. Then comes allergies, umpteen number of allergies and allergies can be as dangerous and life killing. They can also kill a person. Medication, if the kids are on some medication, one should know, teacher should know what are the medication, because the side effects and sometimes the medication along with some other medication or foods can be more dangerous. And developmental delays, I mean the special needs of the child. These are some of the most critical elements. So whenever we look at the emotional conditions, observe for any sign of anxiety, depression, stress, or emotional distress. Note the change in mood, behavior, social interactions that could indicate emotional problems. Behavioral condition such as hyperactivity, attention deficit, learning disabilities, such kind of behavior, how they deal with the students, other students, can also give us an indication of how is the behavioral health of a child. Physical disability is very clearly defined, so they need a particular set of special needs. We need to support them. By noting this condition, a teacher can better understand the health and provide the appropriate support to the child. And sudden, and if you are keeping uh, uh, note of such kind of issues, you will be able to deal with the emergencies much better. Next slide, I am focusing on the cancers in children, which are becoming more and more common and dangerous. The most common cancers in children, which are diagnosed in the age group of 0 to 14, are leukemia, that is a blood cancer, brain and other central nervous system cancers, or tumors or lymphomas we call them. So when I look at leukemia, what are the symptoms we generally look at in leukemia? It's bone and joint pain, fatigue, weakness, pale skin, bleeding or bruising, fever or weight loss. The brain and central nervous system tumors leads to headaches, nausea, vomiting, blurred vision, double vision, dizziness or difficulty walking. The cancer symptoms are generally very similar to other childhood illnesses. They can be unable to urinate properly, there is blood in the urine, or unexplained lump, formless swelling in the body, uh, abdominal pain. It can be unusual paleness, tired all the time, unexplained vomiting, continuously vomiting, shortness of breath, changes in appearance of the eye. There are umpteen number of reasons, umpteen number of uh, different kind of indications or symptoms which you can observe in a child, and that can lead, or that can be a symptom for a cancer. So I actually, it is such a, in one lecture it is very difficult to cover such a huge topic, but I am trying to give as much as possible. uh, if you can take to the next slide. So when I look at mental health issues for the children, it is a growing concern in India. Mental health and well-being of an individual, which encompasses the emotional, psychological and social well-being, which can affect at any age, gender and socio-economic status. If the mental health issue is not addressed during the childhood, it can amplify later, which leads to a serious harm to the individual level. This can also have an adverse impact on the domestic as well as the social uh, life of the individual. Poor social connection is a primary reason for a student to develop psychological disorder. In India, mental health issues are growing at a very fast pace. A study by the National Institute of Mental Health and Neurosciences, NIMHANS, found that 23% of the school children in India have mental health problem. Bear with me, 23%. Students' most common mental health problem was anxiety, depression, behavioral issues. Several factors which are leading to mental health have been observed, which can be stress. Students are under consistent stress for academic excellence. Stress can manifest in many ways. It can be depression, it can be physical health issues. Bullying is one of the most critical elements we have seen. Bullying is a significant problem in schools. It can have a huge negative impact on the mental health of a bullied child. Bullying can lead to isolation, worthlessness, and low self esteem. Family problems, they may come from a difficult families, which can also lead, which can have some kind of parental divorce, violence in the house, which can also add to the mental trauma of the child. Uh, Mental health problems can significantly impact the student's academic performance as well. Not only academic, even the social relationship and overall well-being of the child gets affected. Measures which can be taken to promote the student's mental health being, I would like to advise few. So raising awareness about the mental health is the most critical element. There should not be any stigma attached to it. Early intervention, which is where the teachers and parents can play a huge role. This can prevent the problem from becoming severe. School should create a supportive environment. The teachers have to create a supportive environment so that the students feel safe and valued. The mental health services, like said, psychologists and social workers are being appointed by the schools to support children. The overall health and the well-being of the individual, it depends on mental health. By taking these steps, you are actually helping the children grow in a better individual for tomorrow. I can go on giving the what are the different additional measures you can employ, so that we have to need to train our teachers to deal with these children, or how to deal with the mental health issues. Create culture of support. Uh, we have destigmatized. Stigma has to get removed of the mental health. School should work with the parents and the community to promote the mental health, and be patient. As a teacher, as a educator, you have to become more and more patient to while dealing with the mental health issues. And the last slide, it is only for you. Adopting a healthy lifestyle can help prevent chronic diseases and help you improve the overall health and well-being. For a teacher or your own family, there are many things a person can do to live a healthy life, such as healthy food habits, eating the right food, exercising regularly, maintaining a healthy weight, avoiding to smoke and drink liquor, getting enough sleep at night, and managing stress, and if there are any other health condition. These are the few precautions which all of us have to take. With this, I come to the last slide. Last slide, madam. That is, thank you all of you for your patient hearing, and I'm open to a question if you have any. I hope I did not bore you.
No, sir. No, sir. It was very, very informative. And as you said, uh, you
It's a
know,
huge topic.
people don't open out very easily.
Yeah,
Uh, like I can see in the chat box, somebody has written it was very informative and useful session. Sir, what in my experience I have come across is many a times when teachers notice certain things in children, either they have a tendency for self-harm or any other tendency, parents do not agree, and parents are not willing to accept it. So many a times the teacher faces that problem also. So as you said, not only do the teachers need training, but we need to have orientation for parents too.
correct.
Also, I have worked in 4 schools in my entire career. Uh, two, 3 of the schools were very, very open to, you know,
Correct.
this sort of attitude towards the children. They, open to counseling and open towards mental health. And, sessions were held for students also, wherein, so that others do not make fun, others do not, so it is a accepted fact. There is, just as a person can have different aspects, so this is also one of the aspects. But uh, some of the schools, one of the schools where I was, it was sort of a hush hush thing, there was a counselor, but that counselor came only on a day when no children were there. Only that specific child was called. None of the teachers knew that child had a problem. At this time, I'm sure the teachers find it very, very difficult to handle such situations. So I do not know about other teachers, but I'm just sharing with you what I experienced. And luckily for me, all the three schools that I was working, we were very open. We had a resource room where child could, whenever they wanted, they could just go and meet the counselor, share with the counselor. That was there. So that really helps. As you rightly said, it really helps. Anyone, any questions or want to share anything?
Good evening, ma'am, and good evening, sir. I'm so sorry, I'm under the weather, so my voice is absolutely gone. But yes, we are. It's been a very friendly, teachers friendly talk. Normally, so many things that we ignore for ourselves, and that bears some effects on the children. But yes, when we are in the healthy mind and healthy body, definitely we are in a better frame of mind to nurture our children. So I am is very, though I myself is no just very bad cough, cold fever. But I said no, I will not miss anything. And I just from the start I heard everything. It's amazing. I would like to go through the entire PPT once again, sir. Thank you so much. And it was so very close to our day-to-day life, very close to as a teacher fraternity, you can say that. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you.
Yes, anybody else would like to say something?
If anybody has any question, I am also open to it. Huh? Perfectly okay. If I missed something or you want to
Any
ask something,
questions?
I can be helpful.
Anyone? Sir, I am not very sure about this, but I was told once a person I know said that, in a long flight, the couple was an elderly couple, and in a long flight, the person felt some tingling in the feet and all, and that later on they said that it was because you're sitting for very long time and therefore there is no flow of blood, and that could cause
Yeah,
irritation, or that
yeah,
could cause
it
lead
is.
to a heart attack. Is that true, sir?
Yeah, actually, in a long flight, like if you're coming from say US, it is a 22 hours flight. Just imagine if you are not ready to get up from a chair, then there is a problem. Okay, every couple of hours you have to get up, go around. In the flight, there is a we are lucky we can go around. You
Yes.
can go to a loo, whatever. You just go and walk around. Just check what are other passengers doing. It is good for your health because pulling of the blood is a reality, and you are putting so much of pressure on your legs. Just imagine, those are poor legs, and we treat them so badly,
Yes,
all of us.
I can totally relate with it
uh,
because my legs used to hurt after teaching.
I
I had
understand.
to come and sit and keep my legs raised.
Yeah, and most of us, we don't care for our legs somehow.
Mm.
We think they are taken, they are downtrodden, bechare. They have been given very bad treatment. You will take your hand first, then your leg. But actually, legs are more important. Actually, they carry you along.
Yes, 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 sir. Yes, sir. Mm.
So, so
Anyone, any
basic,
question? Yes.
anything, because I'm a cancer expert. So if you want to ask any question, I can also be of help there.
Anybody?
So, I have just one, I wouldn't say it's a question. I just have some clarification. You talked about expectation from stakeholders, sir, but I had conducted a study where we talked about teacher expectation of self with respect to her success in teaching or teacher effectiveness. I'm not very sure what was the last variable, but in this we found that more than 60% of the teachers chose the profession out of compulsion rather than choice.
You said
And
it.
one aspect of the study showed that those who chose out of compulsion, they faced a lot of issues with respect to self-esteem, confidence, presentation skills. In these areas we found, but this was one aspect of the study. Okay, and those out of choice, we found that it was much lesser. By compulsion, I mean those teachers who look at teaching as their last option for various reasons. Could be because they are ladies and they feel that, they get a sufficient number of days vacation, which helps them cater to their families, or something, where you don't get into any other profession of your choice, then you feel that teaching is my last profession and then I'll go into private coaching and make good money. Or could be various other reasons. But this was also found. And we found that these teachers out of compulsion who went, they faced some I wouldn't call this mental health issues, but they were a little anxious, low self-esteem, and were not confident about themselves, couldn't present themselves as they wanted to.
I will say that they were unhappy. Most of
Yeah,
these people are
yeah.
unhappy. That's the right word. Actually,
The bottom line is unhappy, and they were not happy in the
but
profession they were
but
in. But
but it's
unfortunately, teaching is one profession where, everyone wants to enter, where they don't get chances otherwise.
yeah. But the most critical element is which is actually affecting this is the low pay. Initially, you people have faced it, and you have been braved it through it. This is one profession which has not been paid well for years, for ages. Now it is the situation is changing. Now the situation is better now. Now
Better.
more educated, well educated, or rankers are also going into teaching because it is a lucrative enough. Previously, for you, all of you, I respect you a lot because of that. You have given your life to it when you are
Correct.
getting paid peanuts. I'm sorry to say, but that's the reality. If you'd have gone in any other profession, you would have earned money much more. But you decided to be here. You decided to put yourself to this grilling task. It is not an easy. I sincerely believe I have. That's why I said in the first itself, I have huge respect for all you gurus. So, well, yes, but the things are changing, and I'm very happy for that because I can see that the more and more schools are now paying well. The educationists are being getting their due respect, and uh, of course they can be paid more. I will give you an example of one of my friend, a teacher. Again, a group of teachers had gone to Japan. It happened last year after the COVID, and when they stood, they went in a restaurant, and they were standing in the line. There was a line for getting the coupons. They were having one batch in their in the which is saying teacher, Indian teacher. Okay, suddenly everything changed. The whole line went aside, and this gentleman was asked to take the first. She said, "Sir, you are a teacher. Sir, how can we make you wait?" What a great feeling. When I spoke to this gentleman, he was so overjoyed. He said, "Nitin, I had never felt this good when they respected me so much because I am a teacher." And this is what is needed to be done here as well. I sincerely feel that is the respect which the teacher deserves.
Was this in India, sir?
No, no, it was in Japan.
That's what I realized it
No,
because
but we can learn from them. We
yes.
always learn bad things from them. We are ready to pick up all the bad
I'll just
things.
share one incident, sir. I was to visit my niece for her graduation ceremony in US. So So I had applied for my visa and they asked, I went. So they just asked me, I said, yeah, are you planning to stay? I said, no, I'm not planning to stay there because I'm working here. So what are you doing? Of course, they must be knowing it. But they just asked, I said, I'm a principal in so and so. Oh, madam, if you're a principal, here is your visa, it will be sent. You can collect it. No more further question. Just one question was asked.
Beautiful.
So
Beautiful.
that sort of a thing, yeah.
That's what we need more of such things.
Yes,
I
sir.
sincerely feel we need more of such
Yes,
things. And
yes.
actually, each one of you deserve it many times more. So all kudos to you guys, and thank you very much for listening to me talking about the issues. I spoke only about issues today.
No. So it was a
Sorry for
very
that.
informative session, and somehow we could, at least I could relate to it a lot. I'm sure others also could relate,
Sure.
but I could relate. And thank you very much for that session.
Thank
If
you.
nobody has any questions, Uma ma'am?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Before I start my formal role, I would really like to just mention two instances in my own life which I have experienced. One regarding the voice, what you said, right? So in 2003, I really lost my voice. I couldn't speak. And
Oh,
you can imagine from morning 8 to 4, we are supposed to be continuously. And I was a little, quite
correct.
worried about. Then, of course, I went to an ENT and all, and then he gave me a medicine. But then he also told me, as you said, voice rest. And I used to speak. And he also told me this, and speech therapist, of course, I did. And also move around in the classroom so that, you don't have to stand at one place and shout. When you move around, so your voice is being spread out. So that all these things helped me a lot. And within 15 days, I was back to my normal. And the second one, as you said, varicose. I started with my varicose. And I do yoga continuously. But let me tell you, it is completely gone with varicose. Nothing else I have done. Only I do yoga. That has
Very
also
good.
helped me a lot. Yes.
Very good.
And yes, now let me come to the formal thing. I take this opportunity to propose the vote of thanks. Let me thank Dr. Nitin Malekar from the bottom of my heart, because right from head to toe, you have explained every part of an educator, where an educator feels the pain and how they can solve this. And at the same time, even the students, because unless educators take care of themselves, they cannot take care of the students as well. So also about the students, so that the educators are able to monitor them, identify their issues also. It was a real wonderful, very informative and very depth, I tell you, very much in depth. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much.
Pleasure.
Let me sincerely thank all the educators who are present here. I'm sure we have got a lot of takeaways. Let me sincerely thank Deepa Desai ma'am for giving me this opportunity to host the session. Last but not the least, let me thank the technical team for their wonderful cooperation. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Uma ma'am, as usual, hosting and doing a wonderful job of it. Thank you so much. Thanks. And thank you once again, Doctor, for wonderful session. Really wonderful session.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Bye bye. All of you.
Bye. Have a good day.